Hey everybody, welcome back to Champ and Sons and our PGA 2K21, the Return of Bubba Champion series. And today we are going to be in the Juno Cup being played at Copper Dunes. This is a tough course. There's a bunch of elevation changes um, in it, not only off the tee box but approaching into the greens. There's a lot of sand, as you can see from these highlights from the first three rounds. And a lot of really thick rough that we have. So we do have to be careful and watch for that. That can really hinder us big time, if we're not careful. So, Juno Cup, taking a look at the leaderboard. We are in fifth place at 18 under. Patrick Reed is 19, Finau 22, Adam Scott 23, and is tied for the lead with Justin Thomas at 23 under. So we are only 5 back. It's not impossible, to try to make a run. It's going to be hard for Justin Thomas and them to not falter, basically. Um, I don't see them shooting only 2 under and allowing me to come back and win this thing possibly, because I'd have to put together a dang near perfect round. And you can tell this is a 7,700 yard par 72 course, Copper Dunes. All right, this is not one that you really can mess around with, because it will bite you in the keister big time. All right. So here we are, tee box. First hole is going to be a par 4. It is about 440 yards in total. It's again a little windy of fairway, and these fairways are not flat. It's very hard to find flat space on it. A lot of it has a slope to it, which we have to take into account for every one of these shots. And because you can see we're set up pretty solid, but if you look at how the ball is placed under our feet, that's going to cause it to come off. Pretty weird, so we do have to adjust our aiming. And, this green is 7 feet above where we're standing, but we also have a 15 mile an hour, left to right wind semi at our back that we have to contend with as well. And this second shot is going to shoot off slightly to the right, way further right than where we were aiming, of course. We do still land it on the green, but just like the fairway, these greens are not flat, and that ball will roll a little bit away, leaving us with about 27 feet for the birdie opportunity. Big slope, right to left break. This is definitely a tough putt, and we really pushed that one as we do send it by the cup. That's going to leave a little chicken on the bone, as they say. A little bit left, 4 feet for the par, right to left break. Got to be careful. Cannot afford big-time mistakes. And we will get the par putt, dropping in the middle, keeping us at 18 under after this first hole of the final round. And just waiting for the leaders to tee off to see, what types of moves we're going to be needing to make. So on the second hole, it is a par 4, sharp dogleg to the left that we can try to cut this that turn in half, especially with the wind going a little bit left to right at about 13 miles an hour. That definitely helps us shape this ball perfectly off the tee box, as we will land it right in the middle of the fairway, and that will give us an opportune shot to come into this green from about 110 yards, 112 yards away. The wind is directly left to right, still at about 13 miles an hour, but this green is high above our feet location, and once again, if you look at the slope, the ball is above our feet as well. We try to make some of the adjustments. We do get a pretty good swing on it, and the ball will land and stop. It still kind of came off a little bit further to the right than what I had anticipated, but we have a makeable 18-foot birdie putt. Not a whole lot of break as we read this coming into it down the line, but we still don't play it enough, and that ball will sail past the cup, leaving us 3 feet left for the par, as these are easy to miss, surprisingly. So we do take our time, make sure we make the putt, and we walk out of there 18 under still. Now, if you look, Patrick Reed actually drops a shot on the first hole, so we are now tied for fourth because he did fall back one, trailing Tony Finau. All right, so the third hole is going to be a par 3, about 200 yards, pretty well below the tee-off location. And we will get a good swing on that. The ball has a proper flight path, and it hits off the hill, rolls right by the cup. And that one did give us a lucky bounce. Sometimes I'll take luck over skill any day. So it's birdie putt here. Little left to right break, 23, 24 feet. It is slightly downhill, so not too much down. So we're going to stroke that putt, and it's going to come just to the left of the cup. Played a little more break in it than what there was, and we will end up with a 2-footer for par that we just tap right into the cup. Still 18 under through 3 holes on this final day. Maintaining, tied for 4th place. We're now 4 shots behind Finau, who's at 22 under. So we do need to start making a move at some point. I will say in the previous days, the previous 3 rounds, the back 9 is really where I was able to make more of a run. So it's going to be a journey till then, but we are going to have to try to get something going here at some point. All right, so taking a look at a little bit of a round break after our tee shot, we're going to be checking out what Ian Poulter is doing. Our rival sitting at 2 under on the day, the 8th hole for a birdie opportunity on the chip. And he will send it towards the cup, and it will drop in right there, giving Ian Poulter a birdie. So he's 3 under on the day. And it seems like he's trying to make a little bit of a move with getting chip-ins like that. So now on the par 5, 4th hole, we're here at our second shot, about 275 yards away. It's not really reachable, especially with the wind not being in our favor. It is about coming into us slightly at about 14 miles per hour. So trying to get this the second shot lined up with it being below our feet. The ball comes off low and to the right, but that may actually work to our advantage if we can get this ball stopped before the rough. And we do. That actually helped us out a little bit as we get a perfect 3-wood layup shot here on the 4th hole. So now our third shot, we do have a lob wedge. We're about 55 yards away. So there should be a basic little pitch onto it. The wind is going to have an impact in the way the slope of this fairway is. And we just chili dip that, completely just hit it thick, and it drops into the bunker. So now we're on the beach trying to get a comeback shot, needing to get this one close. Out of the bunker, we give it a pretty good go, but it's still a difficult par putt, sitting at 17 feet left to right break, and this is not a position I want to be in. All right, so we're going to stroke that putt, and it's going to go to the right. I had a fear that would happen, and on a par 5, a hole we should have been able to take advantage of, we completely blow it on our third shot, and that leads us to a bogey. So we do drop one back to 17 under in 5th place, as Adam Scott's starting to run away with it a little bit at 27 under with a 2-stroke lead over 2nd place. All right, and so now on the 5th hole, it's going to be a par 4. We're taking driver off the tee box, letting the wind help us out, as it does a perfect little fade shot and pushes us right to the middle, and our ball will bounce off that hard fairway and give us a decent second shot coming into this green. The pin is in that little nook, so we are going to take an 8-iron from about 150. So we put a solid shot on it, but the wind is not doing what I thought it would, have the effect I thought it would. So we do hit it over the green. We are in a decently chippable zone, I guess you could say. And so we are going to give it a pretty good little run right there. And it's tracking towards the cup. It's going to drop in. Chip in birdie. Paging Dr. Chipinski. He is in the office now, as we drop that one off the green for the birdie here at the 5th hole, putting us right back in at 18 under for the round. That's how you come back after making a mistake like we did on the par 5. Chip in for birdie on the following par 3. 18 under, still in 5th place as Patrick Reed is at 19 under right now, as we're basically trying to chase him down before we look too far ahead. So the 6th hole is going to be another par 3, and we're hitting slightly into the wind. We're taking a 5-wood. It's about 217 yards away. So we get a pretty good swing on that. The wind is going to push the ball further to the left, and it bounces off a ridge at the front side of that green and rolls off. So this does make a pretty difficult little chip shot. I need to get that changed over to do a flop shot or a little splash one. Trying to get up that ridge with the chip, I just could not see that happening, so we had to change a different style. I am taking a lob wedge, and I'm going to adjust it so we get a lot of basically spin coming around on it to stop the ball from going too far. So we got it lined up. Got our spin adjusted. Give it a little whack and stop it. And it does. Okay. That was about as good as we could have asked for coming from that position. So we do still have 13 feet for par. But that's better than what the false alternatives could have been after we missed that putt. Leaving us 3 feet remaining. We do drop it in for the bogeys. We're right back to 17 under par. Oh, God, that's painful. Tied for 5th now, so instead of being in 5th all alone, we are tied. We're 1 over on the day, so we definitely need to get our keisters in gear. The 7th hole is going to be a par 4. We take driver off the tee box because we have to make something happen. We can't just sit back and play safe all the time. As we'll blast it down the middle of the fairway, and it would leave us about 100 yards remaining. We're looking at taking a lob wedge or a possible sand wedge with this wind that we're facing, and that the pin is up above where we are right now. So we give it a good hard whack. Just don't want the wind to affect it too much. It kind of stopped it a little more than what I would like, but we are on the putting surface now, so that is a big thing. So our putt for birdie is about 30 feet, slightly downhill from where we are. You're going to see right to left and left to right break. We give it a pretty good roll, just not wanting to overshoot it by too much. We do leave a little bit left with 4 feet for the par as we drain it. But man, that's a risky little comebacker right there, especially the way we've been playing these last previous holes right before that. And so now we're going to move on to the 8th hole, sitting at 17 under, still tied for 5th place. Looks like we're going to be taking our driver on this par 5-8. Trying to land it in a little bit more thinner area, I would think, for our driver to go. And it gives us a good bounce and lands in a solid spot that's fairly flat. So we have an actual semi-good opportunity at possibly taking a run at this green for our second shot on this par 5. We do have our 3-wood in hand. And we give it a go. Ooh, 101% power. That's a pretty good solid strike. Just need it to bounce right. That is going to land right shy of the green, and that ball is rolling. It's still going. It's getting even closer, ladies and gentlemen. Our second shot leaving us with an eagle putt of 25 feet. This could start to change the round for us right now. We drive it in. It's tracking and just goes slightly to the right, so we will not get the eagle. But once again, we do make the birdie back to put us at 18 under par for the round. So we're basically even so far coming into the 9th hole. And it's not where you want to be, but hey, I'll take it. We are trailing by 2 to Patrick Reed and by 6 to Finau for 3rd place. We need to make up a lot of room right now. We got about 10 holes remaining. We need to make up a lot of space. So here on the 9th tee box, par 4, we're going to take driver off the tee and nicely fly over that sand trap in the middle of the fairway. And that's going to get some good roll on this hard turf as we get all the way about 345 yards in total. Now our second shot, about 130 yards away to a green that is about 7-8 feet above where we're standing right now. We do have the wind slightly at our back at about 14 miles an hour, so we have to be careful with this second shot. And it looks like the wind is pushing that ball slightly to the right. Needed to kick left at least, but it's going to actually stop in primo position for where this pin was placed at the back right in this little nub right there, leaving us a birdie putt at 14 feet. Not much right to left break at all. It's fairly flat, 14 feet, very makeable. And it's tracking in. It falls into the cup. Birdie. The bird dog is now hunting as we are 19 under. That puts us at 1 under for the 9. And we are still in 5th place. 1 shot behind Reed at 20 under for 4th. Finau's moved to 25. So he's going to be extremely hard to catch with only 9 holes remaining. But we'll see what we can do. So on the 10th, it is going to be a par 4, about 480 yards. And we have a little left to right wind, so we're going to use that to our advantage and let it kind of put a slight fade to our shot. Needing this ball to check up before it's in the dang rough. All right, that sucks. And that's a rough we really did not want to hit in. Man, this slope that's on it and where it's at, I'm going to give it a pretty good aiming to the left, figuring it'll probably shoot off some. And that's really just to be safe. And it does. It comes off really far to the right, but thankfully we tried to hit off that other hill. That we're going to end up in pretty decent shape. It kind of comes back to us off a ridge in the green, but we do actually have a birdie opportunity from about 30 feet. It is going to be a pretty hard putt we're going to have to hit with some decent left to right break, but we get a good stroke on it. We might sink this one. It's tracking. Oh my goodness, it gets right around the edge. That was a great putt. Leaves us 1 foot for the par. That would have been an exceptional putt if we had made it. No shame in not making that one. So still 19 under for the round. Now we're 2 shots back of 4th place as Patrick Reed has moved to 21 under. So the 11th hole is going to be a par 4, about 460 yards, right to left wind for us, about 12 miles per hour, and that ball in that wind helps draw perfectly once again to the fairway. And look at it bounce off. These fairways are incredibly hard to provide a bunch of roll for us. Our second shot's going to be slightly more difficult. The green is below us. It's about 150 yards out, but that wind coming in at 13 miles an hour has basically changed direction and is right to left at our back. So we are taking a 9-iron from this distance. That wind should help us get to where we need to be. Just not as much as I would kind of like, and so it does land, bounce in the rough, but that slows us down enough when we land on the green, so it worked to our advantage, as we have a 15-foot birdie putt coming up right now. We're going to strike that putt, and it's going to fall into the cup. That's another birdie on the scorecard right there. 20 under par on the day, working to separate ourselves from those below us and trying to catch Patrick Reed. He's now only 1 stroke ahead of us at 21 under. All right, so the 12th hole, par 3, 160 yards, but the green is way above where our elevation is, so we are going to have to take some extra club. We do have a 6-iron that we're going to pull out. Should need a pretty hard swing to actually get it up there with everything we have. And that ball is tracking towards the green, bounces right on the fringe, and does stop, so we are allowed to putt the ball. Not really where I thought we were going to land up. I figured we'd be a little bit more right on the green, but just came off a little bit further to the left. So we are going to stroke this putt, and it stopped just short. Got it, never up, never in, bruh. Do tap that in for the par, 20 under for the day, as we have about, 5-6 holes remaining on this side. Adam Scott is still the leader, but now he's at 30 under on the day. 10 strokes ahead of us. No way we catch him. Impossible at this point. All right, so in the 13th par 4, we are going to take off with the driver going right down the middle. This was a big elevation change, and with wind, it was something I didn't have to worry about hitting into that rough on. So our second shot is going to be about 175 yards out. The wind is directly right to left at 12 miles an hour. Looking at this, I'm going to think about taking a 5-iron. I do angle it some to get a little bit more air, to try to let that wind shape us out a nice little draw shot. And it does that pretty well. We do land up. I did not want to hit that ridge in the middle, so it shoots us off to the back left side of the green. We do have a big putt coming back up, but at least we are on the surface. So 43 feet uphill, left to right break. This is easy. There's, I don't know why anybody would say this was a hard putt. I mean, look at it. Jesus Christ. As we give it a good whack, and we're going to roll that ball right next to the cup. That really was about as good as I could realistically ask for from that type of distance. So we do drain the par. As much as I would like to have gotten a birdie with where we were, par I think is probably the best outcome that we could do. So, taking a look, we're going to have a little game break here as we check up on our rival, Mr. Ian Poulter, at the 17th hole for his third shot from the fairway. And he is, oh man, he is almost dead-eyed trying to knock that one in as well. We saw him chip in earlier in the round on the 8th hole. That shot just went right by the cup. That would have been a heck of a birdie to make for Mr. Poulter, but it was not meant to be. All right, so still in 5th place, 2 behind Reed and 6 behind Finau. I really want to try to catch Reed. That's my main goal right now. Coming off this 14th tee box, look at how there's so many fairway bunkers, and it just winds around all this sand. Shots like that are more intimidating than what it appears whenever you're playing it with this wind that we have going on. And so it makes everything kind of counteract each other. We're downhill 18 feet, but we're hitting into a 20-mile-an-hour wind. You basically land at about average. So that's becoming a big hassle. Definitely need to work on getting better with that. That was our second shot on this par 5. Once again, unable to reach it into. So we are going to be trying to take a lob wedge pitch from about, what was that, about 33 yards. See if we can't get that ball to just check up on us, as it flies further than what I thought. We do get some spin, but it's going to kind of roll down some slight hillage and end up being better than where it started out at on the green, so I'll definitely take that. We do have a 20-footer for par, or for birdie, right to left break. A pretty good chunk of right to left break, so we need to be careful with this putt. We'll get a good hit on it. Don't play it just not enough, and the ball crosses the face of the cup. It rolls to about 5 feet away, leaving a little left on the plate there for par. But we do get that one in. And we are still remaining at 20 under par for the tournament. So the 15th hole is going to be a par 3. The pin is about 205 yards away from us. At about definitely pretty good below us by around a 20-foot elevation change. We are looking to take a 5-iron with this wind hitting into. I think we can get a good roll off once it lands to try and get this ball to cozy up next to it. But instead, it lands short and bounces in the rough. That makes the second shot a pain with the way this thick rough is going to catch this lob wedge as we cut through it. And that ball's going to land right where we needed it, and we will play that shot better than what I thought, as it just slides right by the cup. And that's going to leave us with about a 3-foot for par, and we will walk out of here with a lucky par after that tee shot. Ending up in the rough around these greens is not something that you can just walk away easily from. All right, so par putt, 20 under. We are 1 under on the backside right now. 20 under for the tournament. We played through 15. Patrick Reed now has separated by 4 strokes from us. So we got 16, 17, 18, only 3 holes remaining. I think let's just finish this out and remain in the top 5 because we are now tied for 5th. And let's move on from this one. All right, so now realizing that we're tied for 5th at this point, we turn up the heat and take the driver off the tee box. Shape that one out beautifully, leaving us with about 160 yards into the pin. Looking at holding a 7-iron in the hand right now. I'm going to try to let the wind, help us a little bit, and hopefully we can get going back towards the cup on this shot with some of this backspin we're going to put to it. All right, get the swing going. It's beautifully swung. That ball is tracking a little further right than what I would want. Need it to kick slightly left. But it's going to land and it's going to plop and kind of just roll right next to the pin. But even with the pin, that was a great shot, as we have an excellent birdie opportunity here. Try to add us a little separation. We're looking at 11 feet right to left break for this birdie putt, but it's definitely a makeable putt. All right, so we get the right strength on it. Just not enough. You got to be kidding me. Once again, just not enough, as that ball rolls by and leaves us with a little 2-footer for par. So once again, another par, needing birdies, needing to take advantage of these opportunities whenever we have them. So 17th hole, 2 remaining. 17 is going to be a par 4. It's going to be about 360 yards, so it is short, but trying to cut it off and go around it like I've done before is hard with the way this wind is going right now. So playing it smart, being in the fairway. Now we have the wind at our back for about a shot that's about 135 yards. We do have the pitching wedge in our hand, so we can play this wind along with us. We put a slight push to it, but it's still tracking beautifully for how we want it. Need it to hold on. Ooh, that, yeah, okay, that is, they are counting that as on the green. So a lot further than what we were wanting. It is leaving us 46 feet for the birdie opportunity. So we give it a whack. That's got serious potential. It's going to be in. It's in the cup on the left side. It drops in. The lengthy birdie putt, moving us to 21 under on the day. That was a beautiful putt. And here we are looking at this one again. 46 feet. Had to give it a good, solid, hard stroke. And that one will just roll right ever so gently into the cup. Worthy of that replay. 21 under for the round through 17. 3 back of Reed, who's at 24 under. Adam Scott is still in the lead at 30 under, but Tony Finau's moved to second place, being 28 under par. So the 18th is a par 5 that's about 540 out there. And we do have the wind at our back right now, so we are going to try to take a little advantage of this and see if we can't get this ball to be shaped exactly how we want it and start rolling down that fairway. Get a good, powerful shot on it. The wind is pushing it like we need it to. Just bounce proper. It does. All right, we're going to get going down the fairway here a little bit as we roll to 333 yards off the tee box. And that will leave us with 220 left for our second shot here on the par 5 18th hole. Trying to get a birdie or something so we can get 5th place all by our lonesome. All right, so taking a look, it's definitely possible. I need this ball to land semi-early so we can take some of the roll out of it by the time it gets close to the pin. But this is definitely a possible shot. The wind does push it a little bit further to the right than what I was wanting. That bounce looks beautiful. So slightly too much on it, so the ball will roll off the green. It's really a pretty big fringe area. So this is going to be a basic chip or pitch type situation. It's not anything that should be all that difficult. All right, so our third shot, we are only about 10 yards from the pin. So we got about 5 yards until between us and the edge of the green. So this is going to be one of those things that it's a hard decision to make which one to go with on the chip. Right now, I do have the lob wedge. It looks like it'll give me about 6 yards there, but I need to. It's hard. I need to have the spin controlled. I need it to be able to roll, but I need to not roll too far. I need to put a little bit of backy spin on it. I do chili dip this chip a little bit, and I think if we had got 100%, we may have been able to make it. But instead, we are left with a makeable birdie putt from 5 feet. Little right to left break. 18th hole for birdie. Bubba. He aims. He sets it up. The pin has been pulled. Strokes the putt, and it's in the center cup. That's a birdie for Bubba Champignon. 22 under for the tournament. Should have played a lot better. Had a bunch of missed opportunities on missed putts. Uh, but I think overall, still played a very good round. I was proud of that one. So, all right. Adam Scott wins it at 32 under, Justin Thomas at 30, Finau 28, Reed 24. Then we come in tied for fifth with Patrick Cantlay at 22 under par. So we did get top five, so that should be basically equal to one of our like sponsor goals. I think it was 2 top fives. So, well, hopefully we'll get some new equipment, maybe at least. We'll see how that kind of plays out. All right. So let's kind of get through these little points and all this stuff. Ian Poulter dominated in those 3 rival point areas. So 3 out of 7 earned. All right. Tied for 5th. Jeez. All right, so the next event is going to be the Reverie Open, so that'll be in the next episode. I do want to remind you to subscribe if you have not already, and hit that little thumbs up button if you did like today's video. And I will see y'all in the next one. So as always, everybody, stay safe, and, well, you know how it goes. Later, y'all.